Hey YouTube, namaste and welcome to my channel. This is me and my puppy Zeus. Every time I sit down he jumps on me, guys, so I am sorry if he's just going to jump around in this video as he does. But I'll surely make a reappearance as well. How are you all? I hope you're all well. I hope you're all surviving these holidays. It's the summer holidays, school holidays for the children, so I know most mummies like me will be a bit everywhere this week, but I feel really peaceful today. I'm at peace, and I wanted this video to be something as a fresh start for me. You know, I've said a few bits on my page and then I've gone off and I haven't done videos for days and weeks, and then I've just come back on and done tarot, and I just wanted this video to be my truth, to actually show you and tell you what I've been going through up until this point, why my life got so hectic from 2020 up until now, how much my life has changed up until now, and yeah, for people to understand a little bit more about me instead of judging. You know, I think it's really good for all of us. It's good for our souls to express who we are and tell the world who we are, instead of letting other people judge us and other people make assumptions on us when they don't really know us, you know. So I've got my cup of tea ready. And yeah, let's go. This is my story. You know, I do talk a lot about narcissism and empaths and my never-ending cycle with narcissistic relationships, and I really thought I'd beat it 6 years ago. I'm 37 now. 6 years ago, or even 7 years ago rather, when I left my last relationship and I found out the word narcissist. You know, I was 30, I'd never even heard of the word narcissist, never even heard of the word empath really, and that's when everything clicked for me and I went on my massive self-love journey. A lot of you, because I'm going to be, I just seen 222 then, namaste spirit, and it is actually the 22nd of the 2nd, 2022 today. So today is a really important day as well, guys, for transformation, and that's another reason why I'm putting this video on today. I don't want to change people's minds about me. I don't want to make people feel sorry for me or like me or anything of that sort. I just want to explain what I've been through, because it's been hard, and I know that I'm not the only one that goes through it in narcissistic relationships, and I just wanted to put my story out there, so if there is anybody else that is going through it, that is feeling as confused as what I felt, they won't feel so alone. You know, hopefully this video will give you a few puzzle pieces if you are in a situation that I was in, to understand that it isn't you, okay? Because when you go into a narcissistic relationship, it is absolutely perfect, okay? And I'm going to tell you a story about the last relationship I've been in. This is not to slag this person off, okay? Because what I've also learned lately is, like, obviously this is the third toxic relationship for me. So what I read somewhere was, there is some, if you keep on attracting narcissistic relationships, yes, we've still got lessons, okay? There is still lessons, there's still lessons in self-love for me that I massively needed to learn during this last relationship. But it's also because there is some part of you that is toxic as well, okay? And we don't want to hear that, especially once we've been through what we've been through in narcissistic relationships. We don't want to hear that there's something actually toxic in us that is attracting these people to us, you know. And it doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It doesn't mean that you're actually just the same as a narcissist, because you're not. You haven't done that. So you haven't, you know, broke somebody, you haven't destroyed somebody, you haven't manipulated anybody. But there was a part of you that was toxic, just like there was a part of me that was toxic, that kept you in that relationship, i.e. low self-worth, i.e. not believing yourself, you know. And like, for a long time, guys, you know, I'm going to post this on my Facebook as well, because for the past 2 years, I just seen 444, oh my God. I have been very inconsistent and very everywhere with my posts, because I've been going through this relationship also going through grieving, also going through 2020, lockdown, all of it just sent me a little bit crazy. But coming full circle now and coming out of the relationship and having time to myself to heal this year, I mean, I haven't seen anyone, I haven't been anywhere, really just concentrated since the new year, since New Year's Eve. I made a promise to myself to block everybody else out, to block everything else out and just heal myself, because I was in such a confused, broken place. Christmas, I couldn't post, I couldn't talk to anybody, I couldn't explain to anybody how I was feeling. Now, it's crazy, but I know people that have been in toxic relationships, that have been in relationships with narcissists will understand this, whereas people that haven't will not understand it, okay? You see somebody and they're going through abuse and they keep on going back to this person, then you, if you've never been through it, will be like, well, she's you know, it's her own fault. She must enjoy the pain. She must enjoy the sadness. But when you've been through it, you will understand it is a love, it is an attachment, it is an addiction to the narcissist that you cannot explain. You cannot explain. It takes over you. You lose every single bit of who you are as a person, because this person comes into your life and tells you everything that you are is wrong. Basically, everything that you are, everything that you think, everything that you feel is wrong. In some way, your reality of life is wrong and this person's reality is right. Now, when they first come in, they love bomb, okay? This guy come in and it was just after I'd lost my cousin, Donna, so I wasn't in the best place. It was right at the beginning of 2020. I lost her right at the end of 2019. My dad was really ill. I had just moved from my village, so I was totally isolated. I was in a really low, really vulnerable place, and I just needed somebody to be there for me. You know, boom, the perfect victim for a narcissist. You know, a narcissist likes to, and then they will come in. A narcissist likes to take over. A narcissist likes to be the hero, okay? The narcissist likes you to stroke their ego, okay? So when they first come in and they're doing all this amazing stuff, he come in, like I said, at such a pivotal point in my life where I just needed somebody. It didn't matter if it was a friend, it didn't matter if it was a lover, it didn't matter who he was. I just needed somebody to understand me and somebody to just be there for me. And there he was, doing absolutely everything for me. Again, if you've been through a narcissistic relationships, you will understand when they first come in and when you first meet them, they are the epiphany of perfect. The epiphany of perfect. Their manners, everything. They get you, they understand you. This is your soulmate, you know. And yeah, I've had this 3 times. And it's the only 3 times I've ever been in love, crazily enough. Hang on, let me just have a sip of tea. But this guy came in, like I said, and swept me off my feet and was my, not just a lover, but my best friend as well, you know. So automatically, boom, the attachment came. And slowly but surely throughout that year, you know, he very quickly put me on Facebook. He very quickly put a status up claiming me, saying that we were in love, saying that I was his soulmate, you know. I was a little bit taken back at this point because I had been single previous to this relationship for 3 years. Okay, like I said, I already knew the word narcissist. I already knew the patterns that I'd been in, and I'd already consciously made the effort to understand that I didn't want to get back into it, you know. And then all of a sudden, boom, I was in one, you know. And at the beginning, I didn't realize, I didn't understand, because of the attachment, because of the pain that I was going through. I mean, I lost my dad then 2 weeks after we met, and boom, there was the attachment, you know. And very soon after my dad, he really helped me through the funeral. He couldn't have done more for me, to be honest with you. And again, this was the love bombing stage. This was the stage where he was allowing me to trust him, was he allowing to prove to me that he was a genuine, decent guy. I mean, who wouldn't think that when a guy comes in and helps you sort out your father's funeral, you know? I had nobody else. Well, I thought I had nobody else, and at this point because he was so amazing with me, I started shutting off everybody else around me, okay? I don't have a big family. I don't have a big, I'm quite happy with being on my own, but I did have a group of people that I could talk to, people that I could message, people that seen me regularly. I stopped talking to every single one of them and just become completely and utterly codependent on this guy for my happiness. Sorry about my puppy. He's destroying a bobble hat. So yeah, as it went on, and very shortly, it didn't last long, the love bombing, before the mask came off and things started going wrong, okay? So I think it was literally just after we buried my dad, we went straight into lockdown, and the true colours come out. One night we were drinking or whatever, and he just raged, just went crazy, just said, but then he automatically said he'd had depression for 20 years, prior to my relationship with him. Boom, there was the empath, okay? I was gone then, okay? He broke down, he cried, he showed me a vulnerable side of him, and the empath in me wanted to help him heal, okay? And this has been 18 months, I think, in total, of my life being completely and utterly turned upside down by somebody that used their depression and used their pain as a way to emotionally manipulate me into staying with them. Okay, now this is the reason why my posts have been consistent, and my self-love and everything that I stood for before I had this relationship, everything that I stood for, just I couldn't post. How could I post if I was going through it? How could I post stand up for yourself, be a strong woman, be independent, you're worth more, if I was going through digs, if I was going through, this guy wouldn't do it in a way where he would, like, everybody would see. That's how narcissists do, that they will show their best side. So he'd take me and he built me a garden, he'd take me plant shopping, he'd do absolutely everything for me. But then in the bedroom, or then in other ways, it was a completely different story. I was never enough, okay? He'd done little digs on the way that I looked. I remember once I bought myself some clothes, only a cheap pair of trainers and a pair of leggings from the M&M catalogue. I'm a single mum, and I didn't work through 2020 because of the depression, because of the anxiety and the grieving that I was going through, losing my dad and losing my cousin, and then getting into this relationship. I couldn't even think straight. So I didn't have a lot of money, and I didn't look very well either. If anybody been through trauma or been through pain, you don't want to put your makeup on, you don't want to look your best, you don't want to look after yourself. I couldn't work out, I couldn't eat healthy, I was severely depressed and grieving my dad, and to a degree, because of that level of pain that I was going through, whenever he done things, he'd do things and then he'd leave, okay, which would massively bring up an abandonment wound in me, okay? I have anxiety abandonment issue, I think is called, where if somebody leaves, I go crazy. Especially if one minute they're in love with you and the next minute he would purposely cause an argument or purposely sabotage something and just say, I'm going. So all this pain then comes up inside and you just lose yourself, and then the narcissist then goes quiet and makes it out that it's you. But because you're in that rage, and because you're that upset because of something that person has said that isn't true, because you're the one that's reacting and they're the one that's there, that's cool and calm and collected, then you automatically start believing what this person is telling you. So this guy was telling me, see, look at you going crazy, I don't like to argue, I don't like to shout, I don't like to do this, and look at you. But he never saw, or he did see, because narcissists know what they're doing is all a game, okay? They know what they're doing. They know the manipulation they're putting you through. So to make you crazy, and then to make out that you're the one that's crazy because they're cool and they're calm and they're collected and they don't want to argue, And then in the victim's brain then, so in my brain, I actually said, okay, I understand, I need to heal, I have pain, because I could feel it, and I could feel the frustrations, and I could feel the injustice, but I couldn't change him, so I started trying to change myself. I started trying to change myself because I thought that what this guy was telling me, that I was some sort of monster, that I was some sort of bad person for having opinions, for having emotions, for knowing what's right and what's wrong. So I agreed that there was something wrong with me and I needed to heal. And I spent all 2020 doing that, you know. And this guy would love bomb me. He would message me through the weeks. We'd be talking or whatever. And then come to the weekend, he'd want to see me. I wouldn't want that, you know. I stood my ground for so many months. Now and again I would cave because I missed him and because I loved him and because I'd spent a whole year before this with him building a life. I mean, he met my children, he lived with us. To go from that to one night a week he wanted me then after we'd split. I weren't having it. And I'm sorry if this made me a bad person, but I was not having it. So I talked to him. He would win me round through the week, talk to me through the week, but then I'd still get frustrated that there was nothing going on with this guy. He wasn't working. He'd wake up about 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. He'd go to bed at 3, 4 o'clock in the night. There was no movement in him to build a better life, to come back to me like he said he was going to. And we could be together, you know. This was what he kept saying to me. So because I weren't seeing the movement in the week and the effort in the week, then I would, like hell was I going to see him on the weekend just to give him a part of me when he was giving me nothing, you know. But again, when I was doing that and I weren't seeing him on the weekend and I'd block him and I'd be like, right, I'm done, he would contact me a week later and say, well, see, if you hadn't have done that, if you hadn't have blocked me, if you would have spoke to me, then everything would be fine by now. Oh, I'm really sorry. My puppy just hit the phone over. But yeah, that's kind of like how it went for me through this whole relationship. And I am not here to slag anybody off. I'm not here to put this guy down. We all have insecurities, we all have patterns, and we all have things wrong. But when it comes to emotionally manipulating somebody and destroying somebody, then that's where the line has to stop as far as narcissism is concerned. Okay, and for the other 2 relationships that I was in, I never spoke my truths. Not really actually told in detail what happened in them relationships, because again, if you are a narcissistic abuse survivor, you will understand that you feel shame. You feel complete and utter shame for what you've just gone through. This person has totally and utterly messed with your own reality in your head. They have made you feel, this guy made me feel like there was something wrong with me. Okay, but the more that I was healing, and I accepted it, and I was like, right, okay, like I said, I was healing. I accepted that I had issues, I had triggers, I had wounds from childhood, I had abandonment issues. So I was more than happy to work on them, give myself the love that he didn't give me, give myself the love, watch puppy dog, that I wanted so badly off him, okay? But as I was doing this, at the beginning I was doing it so I could get better to be back with him, okay? Because in some stupid part of my mind I thought, well, if I show him that I'm a normal person, if I show him that I'm healed, and I show him that I've just been grieving my dad, which he should have understood, which any normal decent human would have understood. But narcissists don't have empathy, so they don't see your pain, they only see your weaknesses, they only see your pain as a weakness in you. Okay, and that is unbelievable to a normal person, but that is what it is to a narcissist. So yeah, the more I started healing, you know, I put extensions in my hair, I covered myself in tattoos, all done by me, nobody else. I'm dependent on anybody else for money, for help, for anything. I've really been on my own. But the more that I was doing this, even bought myself a little puppy, the more I give myself that love, the more I stopped looking for it from him. Okay, and I started getting strong to the point where I did say goodbye to him last summer, and I was done, you know. I started yoga, I started making new friends, I was really happy with my healing in my garden. I just opened an Etsy shop. I was really doing really well, and then because he's seen that I was doing really well, he come back, okay? And this is where it all started all over again. He come back with apologies this time, saying he understood where he'd gone wrong. He hated how he treated me and he wanted to heal, okay? Oh my God, for me to hear that come out of his mouth, for him to understand, which is what I thought he was, for him to understand that he needs to heal his narcissism, that he's not a bad person because he has that, but he does need to take responsibility for that, and he does need to heal if he wants to be with me. He said all the right things. He'd done all the right things. I allowed him back because I missed him and because I loved him. You know, love is a funny thing. It really is. We can't help who we fall in love with. But like I said, this guy, I allowed to my father's funeral. I allowed to sleep in the same house as my children. You know, I had such a level of respect for this guy because of all the things that he had done for me. You know, I was so grateful to him because I'm on my own and because I don't ask for anything off anybody, and I never would, you know. So I did have respect for him, and I did give him the benefit of the doubt, and I did start dating him again back in September. Little to my knowledge, this guy had not changed. This guy had not wanted to heal. But he played the role, you know, he played the role. He was down his garage now. Instead of in his bedroom, he was down his garage doing his 4 or 5 cars that were totally destroyed. And he was trying, you know, and that's all I wanted to see was him trying. It's not the fact that we have to go fast. It's not the fact that we have to be perfect, you know. This has taken me 2 years to put this video out about this, you know. So it's not the fact of judging this guy. It's not the fact of telling him he has to be a certain way, because that's how he made me feel, you know. He made me feel like I was expecting too much of him because I wanted a bit of effort brought back. Girls, you've got to understand, and I know this was my fault because I allowed him in my house without any effort in the beginning, okay? We have to put that barrier up. We have to put that boundary up as to what we will put up with in a relationship and what we won't put up with. I mean, I am not calling myself a victim, okay, because I was grieving and I was going through this. I had every chance through this whole relationship to say, no, this is enough, I can't do this anymore, and walk away. And I tried, and I always got pulled back. So for anybody out there that doesn't understand what wounds are and codependency is and low self-worth is, I mean, you could look at me and you can think, how the hell could she have low self-worth? How the hell? I mean, I put pictures up, I'm quite confident in how I look, but when it comes to love, and I just seen two, when it comes to love and when it comes to opening up my heart, every time I've done it, I've been hurt. So, and I mean, the 3 times I've done it, I've been hurt and destroyed for who I am instead of being loved for who I am, okay? So it doesn't happen often to me. So when I've done it with this one, after I had made a reputation for myself to be a narcissist slayer, you know how bad that made me feel and how ashamed it made me feel. It's put me in a state of, I didn't even trust myself. I haven't even trusted myself, you know, and I don't even trust myself a lot to be confident enough for you to know that you, person watching and person listening to me, will understand what I'm trying to say, because I have so much I want to say, you know. But I'm hoping that there is people out there that will understand what I'm saying and will empathise and understand. Now, the reason again why I'm saying this is because I allowed this relationship and I allowed this pain to change who I am. From the loving, caring, outgoing, no fear, I was fearless, you know, girl that I was before I met him, to not trusting anybody, being so paranoid about people that I've locked myself in my house on my own for the past 2 years. You know, the first year was with him, but last year I wasn't. I had plenty of opportunities to go out. I had plenty of opportunities to date, and I haven't because I don't trust myself, and I have to start trusting myself again. And I guess putting this out there and trusting what I went through and owning my reality of what I went through. I mean, he can say what he wants. What happened to me, what my reality is of the situation is my reality of the situation. And that's another thing that we as survivors of this should understand. We shouldn't be ashamed to speak our truths. We shouldn't be ashamed to stand up and be like, yes, this did happen to me, because so many narcissists get away with it. Like I said, I didn't talk about it in the last 2 relationships because I don't want to be the victim. I don't want to be the one putting things on Facebook like I did a couple of weeks ago about somebody, but I will talk about that now. Talking about people, you know, I'm a really private person, so if I can let it go and get on with my life and leave that person get on with their life and Karma does the rest, then that's fine. But it got to a point with this relationship and how much it broke me down in this relationship and how much it changed me, to the point where I put a post. I've been really scared of starting again. I've been really scared of messaging men. I've been really scared of myself, of trusting myself, because I trusted this guy and I trusted myself so much to be with this person. So when these other guys have come in and asked me, you know, I've got so much self-worth, low self-confidence that I haven't trusted myself to date. But I did start talking to somebody at Christmas time due to healing, and very soon this guy was extremely pushy on me, extremely too much for me, and frightened me. Now I don't know, it frightened me to the point where I threatened this person that I was going to phone the police. Now I don't know if I should have done that or if it was my paranoia because of the abuse that I've been through. I don't trust men. And then it's got to the point where, like I said, I don't go out, I don't socialise, I don't be me, you know. I'm 37 years old. This has been 2 years of my life. I do not want to waste it worrying and being upset because of what one person done to me. And I'm hoping somebody out there right now is listening to my words, who is going through this and who understands how much pain they're going through, and if I can do it, then you can do it too. And I know it's uncomfortable, and I know, you know, trusting yourself is probably, after this type of abuse and after this type of whirlwind relationship, is so hard. It's the hardest thing I've ever had to do in the 3 relationships. You know, I had babies with the other 2, but this one done something to my intuition, you know. It stopped me trusting myself, this relationship, and it's not a nice place to be. And I'm sure that if I've been in this place, then there's other women out there that have been in that place or that are still going through that, you know. And it manifested in my life last week or the week before. I put a post on Facebook because I had an awful message, but I didn't know that this message was a virus. And because of my paranoia and because of my insecurities and because of like my man hate that I have accumulated and not trusted because of what I've been through, I automatically saw red and I put a post up about this guy, and it was wrong. It was a virus and it wasn't the guy, you know. But that has left me feeling like I'm misunderstood. That has left me feeling like I'm a bad person. Now, I've spoke to the person that I put the post on about. He's a photographer, and he has been messaging me for 2 years to have photos. But because of, like, I've been in this relationship for 2 years, that's another thing this guy, this relationship done to me, was any man that spoke to me, any man that commented on my pictures, any man that wanted to talk to me about anything, fancied me and wanted to have sex with me. So that gave me that barrier then of I can't let people close, that insecurity of letting men close because I think that they only want me for one thing. Wow, you know. And this has all recently been in my head because up until very recently I still wanted this guy back, unbelievably. But again, I go back to the shout out to any women that have been through narcissistic relationships, and people are like, why don't you just leave him? Why don't you just leave him? Look what he's doing to you, look how he's treating you, and you're there and you're crying and you're like, but I love him. It's real, guys. It's literally real. It takes such a long time for your perception to change and for you to understand that what you went through was actual manipulation and abuse, emotional abuse, you know. Telling somebody that they have to behave or they have to be a certain way or they can't be loved is abuse, okay? Telling somebody that if they just acted better, if they just done something better, if they were more, is abuse, okay? People that love you and cherish you and want you in their life will love you and cherish you and want you in their life, no matter what the mess on you, okay? They won't put you down, they won't feel insecure, they won't feel the need to make themselves feel better than you, okay? I went through all this with this guy only for him to leave me just before Christmas. I spent 4 weeks crying all over Christmas on my own, and then he had the audacity then to message me on Christmas Eve. Stupid me. It was happy for him to message me because I'd been on my own. But he messaged me on Christmas Eve, but he couldn't message me on Christmas Day. Okay, then the cookie crumbled, or whatever the word is, you know, the light bulb moment come on, and I understood that he had been seeing other girls, you know, and I was just done by that point, okay? He couldn't speak to me Christmas Day. He then went on to message me on Boxing Night, begging me to come over to sleep with me. By this point, I already knew his game. I already understood the light switch come on, and it was like, wow, I've really been played for all these months, and it does take so long. So if you are going through that, please don't feel bad for going through it, okay? I've already been through it in my previous relationship, and I done all the self-love, and I still got back into it because of the attachment wound, you know. So I don't want anybody who's going through it to feel bad about it, okay? And if you are seeing somebody going through it, please don't make them feel bad for going through it. It takes a long time to understand. It takes a long time to get that strength to understand and to be okay with being on your own. I've spent all year so far on my own, and it's been liberating, it's been heartbreaking, it's been shaming, it's been fearful, I've been scared, but you know what? This is me, and this is kind of the reason why I went through it, I guess, because I needed to learn self-love and self-value, and to understand that it's okay to speak our truths, that it's okay to have gone through something, that it's okay to be who you are, you know, and not hide away and be ashamed of what you've gone through and be ashamed of who you are. You know, I'm proud that I've come out the other end, okay, and people can love me for it and people can hate me for it, but it's real and it's happened. And at the end of the day, if we don't speak on these situations and we allow the narcissists to continue to do this, then we're no better than them, you know. So I'm just going to go now. I hope this all made sense, and I hope it gives some of you a key into what I've been going through over the past 2 years. I don't want your sympathy. I don't want your judgments. I just want you to understand that the place that I've been in and the place that I've gone through has been literally walking through hell, because I have been in love with somebody that destroyed me. That was the hardest lesson that I've ever had to go through, and I wouldn't wish it on anybody. But what I can say is, going through it and coming out the other end, I am only stronger because of it. I will not allow another human being to destroy me, and that is why I feel it is so important for all of us to stand up and speak our truths. So I'm going to go now, and yeah, this is me. I kind of guess this is what I'm going to title this video, and I really just hope that it hits anybody, any girls out there that are in narcissistic relationships, and they feel ashamed, or they feel like they can't get out of it, or they feel like they're the only ones that have gone through it. Trust me, babe, you're not, and you have nothing, absolutely nothing to be ashamed of for being a good person, okay? Keep your head held high and understand that your truths are important. Your truths, your desires, your wants, your needs matter more than anybody else's, okay? You come first. So I'm going to go, and I hope this explains some part of what I've been through. Yeah, and I'm still on the healing journey. I'm still not 100% trusting. I still haven't dated, but it's the 22nd of the 2nd, 2022 today. Pluto is in this exact place where it was when America was found all them years ago. Okay, this is a massive day of transformation, death and rebirth, and I guess this is a part of my death and rebirth, because I don't want to allow this to stop me being me. And narcissistic abuse shouldn't, I just don't want it stopping anybody being them, you know. And that is why I heal, and that is why I do what I do, and I speak my truths. Namaste.